both your teams competed this week at the Chili Pepper Festival and at the University of Arkansas. Just talk about first a recap of the men's performances this week.
Yeah, the men's performances. I felt that we raced well. There were 430 runners in the race, so it was a big field. For us, I think we had a couple of guys panic when they were surrounded a lot, and then didn't make really any moves in the middle of the race. And then on the other end of that, we had some guys that got out well, but probably were a little bit over their head, and then it ended up paying for it in the middle of the race. So, it was good for the experience for sure. I felt that those three guys, Charles, Colby, and Anthony, getting out. They're going to have to get out, especially towards the end of the year in region. I felt that it was good for them to do that. A good experience. They paid for it in the middle, and could have been a lot better. But just they were, they weren't where they needed to be, and then the other guys just didn't make the move. So, with that being said, there's definitely some adjustments we need to make going into the next race. Overall, it was an okay to good race, and we learned from it and moved forward on the men's side.
For the women, they had a 7th place finish. You talked about a recap of their weekend.
Yeah, their weekend was was pretty good. They did a really good job of keeping their spread down over 5,000 meters. I think the previous races we were just under 30 seconds. This race we were just under 45 seconds with 1,000 more meters, which is pretty good. That was one of our big goals this year. They achieved that. Pretty much our top 7 PR'd over 5,000 meters. So they moved well through the race. Some people were off a little bit. Kind of the same thing with the guys that didn't get out. There were a lot of girls there, and they just kind of got stuck in the middle and didn't make smart race decisions, and then that ended up hurting them towards the end. Those that kind of got out, they made better moves in the middle. Shelby kept moving up through the races. She had clear openings and made those openings for herself. So she definitely benefited from it. Courtney did a really good job. Brittany was a little bit off, and then the other girls just didn't quite get out where they needed to be. But again, it was another good experience with the big field. Probably the biggest field we're going to see all year. Conference will be a smaller field. And then, of course, region will be smaller, but it'll be a little bit bigger. But overall, I felt pretty good about it. We're on both sides. We're going down the right direction. Alabama in 2 weeks will be a really good test for us, especially being about 2 weeks from conference. But we're right where we need to be, and I feel that we're going to keep making those bigger steps in racing.
You mentioned the women's spread on the men's side. That was one thing you said you wanted to improve, and you said then you had, I think, 4 runners within 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the improvement in that aspect and how they were able to run together this weekend.
Yeah, on the women's side, it was Shelby was a little bit more controlled early on, which helped, and it allowed her to move throughout the race. And like I said, with the fields being a little bit bigger, you got to know where you're at in the race, and that's where a couple people panicked, I think, and they didn't know where they were, and then they weren't able to make those race decisions. But with the spread in a smaller race, I think here in 2 weeks at Alabama, I think that'll be a lot better because we'll be able to see each other a lot better, and that spread hopefully on the guy side will be closer to 30 seconds instead of close to a minute, and on the women I think we'll get down, especially with their top 5. I think we'll be down hopefully under 30 seconds, and I think that'll be a big difference just being in a smaller crowd.
Charles, it was his first race of the year, but in battling injury all year.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how he looked in his first race of the season, placing 16th overall, and how he felt afterwards, health-wise.
Yeah, Charles, he's been battling some knee stuff. I felt that it was a really good start to this season. Jumping out in the first 8K, hasn't raced since track outdoor last year at OSU. So he got out a little fast, a little anxious, and then paid for it in the middle. And I feel like if he had some races under him before, he would have been able to handle that a little bit better. But it was good for him to kind of just get back in the mix, get the rust off. He'll be better at Bama. He'll be better at conference, he'll be better at region. So he's just going to keep continue to progress from here. He's fine. He's healthy. It's just a matter of getting him caught back up from some time that he missed. But really good. I'm really happy with him, and a good addition to our team.
You have a week off now, or no event this coming weekend. What will the focus be heading into the Alabama Crimson Classic?
Yeah, I mean, with this off week, we'll just hammer the workouts. I mean, we're getting into some more interval stuff, and just keep the focus on the end of the season. But with Alabama Crimson Classic coming up, I think I think last year we placed pretty well in the women. I think we were third in women, fourth or fifth, I believe. But I think the goal for both sides is to do better than last year. I think the men, if they put the race together, they can be close to winning or win the meet. And I think the women can be a top 3 team. So we're just going to focus on what we need to do as a team and get ready for next week at Bama. And then ultimately, see where we're at, evaluate things, and then get ready for conference and region in November.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for the time, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Coach, it was a big weekend. Go on the road to HBU, come back here against Sam on Sunday. Just your thoughts on how it went?
Both games I thought framed up the way that we expected. HBU on Friday was a great evening, had a good crowd there, and it was a tactical game, and I thought it was a game that we really managed from start to finish in a professional manner. We maintained our shape, we maintained possession, our movement off the ball was good, we were crisp. You could definitely tell that the cooler temperatures had kind of increased the energy levels. We were able to rotate our roster a little bit by design, especially in our starting lineup, just to see what different looks might present as we go into this final push into the back half of conference play. But ultimately, it was good, good result. We got out of there healthy for the most part, and we were able to get experience to a lot of players, so help prepare us for Sunday. And then Sunday framed up just as we thought it would. I mean, it was a battle of the Piney Woods. It was a game that the last 2 times that we've played that team, they've come out, they've high pressed, they're very organized, they're very well coached, they're very athletic. I think we have, our players match up well athletically. I think we match up really well technically, and I think our schemes were able to impose themselves on Sam Houston. But ultimately, we've had to come back twice the last 2 times that we've played them. We've been down a goal, relatively early goal in the first 15 minutes the last 2 times we've played. And, you don't want to give up goals, but the kind of goal that we gave up, we ask our players to possess the ball out of the back. And we do that for several reasons, but it's a difficult way to play. The easier thing to do would just be to tell your players, hey, just send it. Get the ball, get it to the front line, bypass the midfield, no stress. Well, we choose to possess out of the back. And ultimately, the goal that we gave up in the first 15 minutes was against the run of play. I think we allowed 4 shots the entire game to our 14 or 15. So felt really good about, keeping the ball in our attacking half. But ultimately, we got dispossessed. Tough pass was in, tough couple touches, And no player's fault. It's not anything that we dwelled over. It was something that we addressed, and we tell the players that the worst thing that can happen playing out of the back is that you get dispossessed in your possession and you give up a goal. And as a coaching staff, we're okay with that. If that's the worst thing that can happen, we want to make sure we learn from it. We want to make sure we understand it. But ultimately, it's not anything that we're going to change our identity. We're not going to change the way we play. We just keep moving forward. And I thought the girls did a fantastic job just continuing to move forward. Were they disappointed? Sure. But they managed it, they got over it, and they continued to play the way they had played prior to the goal. So really, really good game all around. And again, good support from all of our team, from the team, and those that started and those that came in. But ultimately, I think it's a good game to prepare us moving forward in the back half of conference. Because I can tell you now, when we look at video and we talk about that goal and what led to it, we're going to get better because of it. And the mentality piece was great. So we're going to move forward and get really excited about this coming week.
So looking ahead to this coming weekend, big travel demand up on your slate. You go at McNeese on Friday, on the road at Abilene on Sunday. What is this week of preparation going to be, and how are you attacking that?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, there's no doubt. McNeese is a team that, even though they're in the bottom half of the standings right now, they're a team that's capable of playing really well, and they're a team that's very physical. They're a team that's in the top half of the conference in fouls. So we expect a physical game Friday night. Their place, Friday night, you've got the top of the table coming to your place, and you want to showcase what you're good at, the things that make you dangerous to play against. And no doubt being physical, being high pressing is part of McNeese's plan. And so we expect that, and that's okay. I mean, they got to do what's going to put them in the best position to be successful, and I think we're really prepared to handle that game plan. If that's going to be a major part of what we see Friday, we've played physical teams, we've played high-pressing teams, we've gotten better as we've played those teams. So I'm excited about, matching up with them from a scheme standpoint. And we play that game at 6 o'clock on Friday, which is a different time slot than usual. But then we got to turn around and we got a 9-hour bus swing. And we're going to break it up as best as we can to limit our travel on Saturday, the day before the game. But it's a fantastic test. It's going to be something where, our players talk about goals that they have. They talk about, what they want to be as a team, what they want their legacy to be as a team. And we're going to find out this weekend. This weekend we'll find out how well prepared we are to grind, how mature we're going to be. Is there going to be adversity? Because then we go into Abilene on Sunday, and we play a very well-rounded Abilene Christian team who's gotten good results and played a good non-conference schedule. And so they're going to demand our best as well. So it's going to be an exciting week. I can't wait for it.
You talk about defending your house. You're 4-0 at home. You're 4-0 in conference with the game in. How is it important to keep this streak going, especially going into these tougher games in this back half of the conference schedule?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's when you look at how we started off conference and the teams that we have played to take points off of. The first 4 games were critical, and to be fair, the first 6 games were games that, as a staff, we've looked at, and especially as you start to see the results around the conference and some of the other points that have been dropped by every team, to be fair, except for us in the table right now. These 2 games this weekend have the opportunity to create some significant separation going into our final back half of our games. And you got to remember too that the last 3 games of our conference play we have at home too. So that's something that we're excited about. So I think that if we can push, if we can focus on first McNeese and then recover and make the trip as well as we can for Sunday at Abilene, that's going to be our focus. And then everything else, we'll see how the results shape up. But the message doesn't change. The intent doesn't change. We are who we are because of the schedule we've played, the way that we've trained. And I'm excited to see these kids compete, even with some adversity. I mean, I'm excited to see how they respond in the toughest of scenarios. And this weekend's going to present a different type of adversity, but it's one I'm excited about seeing how they respond. So we'll be ready.
Thank you for your time, Coach, and best of luck this weekend on the road.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe I need a Waterburger windbreaker. Okay.
All right, Coach, we'll just, start off now, 2 days now, a chance to look at the film. Just kind of your leftover thoughts from the UCA game.
Well, really proud how hard we competed. The will to win at times, the execution was outstanding. I really thought we played with a lot of passion. Very, very physical football game. Obviously, we, had a lead late in the third quarter, put ourselves in a position to win. Had a lot of things going for us, really needed that one more stop. They hit us with a double move, which really, kind of changed the momentum. And then with that said, the offense very calmly takes the ball, drives it down. We're on the 25. We get I think, kind of a questionable situation happen there on maybe a non-call and a called fumble. That they scoop and score. Second consecutive year that SFA's been, we've been the beneficiary, I guess is a bad word, but we've been on the other side of a defensive return for a touchdown. So we felt like that, we'd taken the ball the length of the field, very methodical drive. We were in position to go ahead and score and not leave them too much time left on the clock, and then obviously the table turned there. Then again, the offense comes back. We have a holding call, an offsides call. We start inside our 10 with 3 timeouts. We drive the length of the field, convert some big plays, and we score. We did not use any timeouts, so I thought that was a very efficient drive, both using our legs as well as making some critical catches as well. And with about 1:25 to go in the game, we're lined up for an onside kick. So I kind of recapped that by saying that I thought our young men were very resilient in the fact that, when the momentum really changed, they kept fighting and kept competing. And, we gave ourselves an opportunity to win and extended the game. Just unfortunately there we couldn't get that, critical stop in the fourth quarter at any time that we really needed. And give credit to UCA for that. But a lot of lessons to learn. This program has not been very much recently in a back and forth type of game, high stakes, type of poker game there where being efficient and making plays down the stretch, there's just a premium put on that. And they obviously made more plays down the stretch than we did. They've been in that position quite a bit the last several years and have won some and lost some. We just really have not been in that position this year with this team. And so a lot of lessons to be learned from this experience. But we've got to put it in the trash can and move on to the next challenge, which is Nickel State.
Really, Coach, I know that was a big game because it's a conference opener,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all won 3, but you got a good chance to, with the schedule coming up, you got a chance to make some hay and get back in.
Well, all we're focused on right now is getting healthy, number one, and fundamentally becoming better and making sure we've learned some things from this game. And then trying to win a road game, which we haven't done since the end of the 2011 season. And really that's the goal, is to win, to try to win a road game here. And, we're not really even talking about the conference race or anything like that. We're still in early October. And, when we get to November, we'll see what our body of work is.
Is Gus going to be okay?
Well, he's going through some protocol right now, so we'll see how he is throughout the rest of the day today and moving forward with the rest of the week. We got some other guys beat up, too. That was a very violent, very physical football game. Both teams went at it pretty hard.
Gus have a concussion?
It's what he's being treated for right now.
Maybe Aaron Duback or don't know.
I don't know. Zach's beat up pretty good, too. So we got some guys.
Yes, Coach, sizing up Nichols, obviously they're a team that played a very brutal schedule, getting up a lot of times, rough go for them. Sizing them up, what are we expecting against the Colonels?
Well, first of all, Southland Conference opponent on the road, and you look at their their record, and that's not going to wow you. I think they're 0-6. They've played one home game. And it was against one of the top 5 Division II teams in the country. And they lost a pretty close game there. But they opened up with Air Force and University of Arkansas out of the SEC and North Texas, and then they get the number 5 team in the country at home in Division II. They lose their coach. Then they've got to go on the road to Conway, which is an extremely difficult place to play. And then, congratulations, your next game is in Cowboy Stadium in Lake Charles against the number 4 or 5 team in the country at FCS level. So I'm not sure that many teams in our conference would be a whole lot better than what they are. They have some talented young men. They've got a running back that's extremely big, very physical. I really like the backup running back, too. He gives them a great change of pace and change of direction, a little more athletic kid. They've got a couple of big play receivers. They had one young man go for 100 yards plus, I think, against McNeese Saturday night. Bolt, I think his name is, Damon Bolt, a very talented young man. Big offensive line. Defensively, 28. I can't think of his name right now, but Bowie. Yeah, very, very talented. He can play for anybody in this conference. They've drawn a tough hand down there with their schedule. Number 1, losing Coach Stubbs, so losing some leadership there. Getting a coach in basically in the middle of a prep a week, 3 weeks ago. But I can tell you this, what I've seen already. They've pared some things down. They're putting a premium on getting lined up, getting in the right places, fundamentally trying to be better. It was 17-0 against McNeese inside of 2 minutes in the first half. McNeese really kind of threw one up there late, caught it, was able to score right before the half to make it 24-0. But they played very well, I thought, in the first half against McNeese. To date, probably their best half, in my opinion. So you can see them getting better. They've scaled some things back. Coach Axman's putting his stamp on the program. The thing that you don't know is they play in 2 quarterbacks quite a bit. Henderson had been the starter up until this week. Abear started and played 3 quarters and moved the ball at times. So we're really not sure. So we've got 2 quarterbacks to prepare for there. But two very talented running backs, big offensive line, a couple of big play receivers. And defensively, you can see they're getting lined up better. And then, of course, Bowie is a very talented young man that he could start for any school in this conference right now, I can tell you that.
We've talked about it. I mean, we've been at home for 6 weeks now. Is there a little bit added pressure you're having to get back on the road, get back into that sync logistically and all that?
Well, this is a year of first, a lot of firsts. This will be our first bus trip, and it's our longest trip of the year. So I think we've been comfortable playing at home, even though we came up a little short Saturday. But now we've got to take to the road and move our operation, and again, it's our longest trip of the year. So we'll see where our maturity level is in being able to handle this. We're a little, got some bumps and bruises right now, so some young men are going to have to continue to work and step up and make no illusion, going on the road in this league is very difficult. But this will be the first time that we go on the road together, a long trip and a bus trip. I guess we went to Kansas State, was our only other, and of course that was a plane flight. So this will be our first time together to go do that. But I think the young men are looking forward to get back on the practice field this week and trying to clean up some of the mistakes that we made and try to execute and perform at a higher level when the pressure's on. We'll learn a great deal from this last game.
You mentioned their big offensive line. You look at kind of one of the tells that could tell the difference that is on sacks. We're at 3.6 a game. They haven't had a sack all year.
Yeah.
For that defense, how much is that front pressure going to be?
Well, it's going to be we got to win up front, and I think that's where every football game starts is being able to control the line of scrimmage. And the running back had 100-plus yards against UCA 2 weeks ago. Not sure what his final numbers were against McNeese, but did notice he had a 40-plus yard run early in that game. So their size will be a challenge for us. Obviously, we want to create as many negative plays as we can. We've done a pretty good job of that to date. We're going to need to continue to do that. Keep it going, Coach.
We need to. We got a big test this week.
Who you got?
All right, Coach, two more big conference sweeps this week. Talk about the match against Incarnate Word and then this weekend with Abilene Christian.
Yeah, it was a good week for us. Two quality opponents came in here, and it's real important in conference play, certainly, that you take care of your business at home. And we did that. We had a great crowd. Always on the weeknights, you always count on a good crowd. Saturdays, you never really know. Sometimes those are hit and miss, but the crowd that came out Saturday I thought was really good, and they were really loud. And the girls have really responded well to playing in front of that home crowd. And, what we did offensively was pretty ridiculous this past week. We had two really high-level offensive performances from our squad. Defensively, I'd like to see us certainly step up a notch, and that's something we're going to have to do going into the matches this week.
Yeah, you talked about the offensive numbers this week. It was the fewest number of attack errors and the best hitting percentage out of any week so far this year. What specifically is clicking right now offensively?
Well, Paige Holland is the answer to a lot of that. She's doing a really nice job at the setter position and playing very consistently. And when your hitters know what ball to expect, it's much easier for them to go do their job. So she's a big part of that. Our passers getting her the ball, certainly, so that she can do her job is another big part. From the hitter's side, I think it's the fact that we have so many different weapons. We're not having to rely on just one or two people to get the job done offensively. But if somebody's struggling or a team decides they're going to really camp on a particular player, that's okay because we have answers at other positions.
Jackie Allen with a big week. I think over 500 attack percentage this week. Talk about what went right for her in both matches.
Yeah, Jackie had a great week. She's a great player, and she's really learning how to minimize her errors. She's always had the kill potential and always put up really good kill percentages, just been a little higher error than what we would like, especially at the middle blocker position. But this season, she's really starting to understand when to go for the kill and when not, and starting to feel, is my body in good position to hit this particular ball, or do I need to hit a shot? And her shots have really improved, and her selection on when to go for it and when to put the ball in play has really improved as well.
Two more conference matches on the road this time this week. What does your team need to do? What will the other teams, Corpus Christi and Houston Baptist, bring against you guys this week?
These two opponents I think are pretty similar in terms of where their strengths and weaknesses are, and I think they will be very similar to playing ourselves as well. You're going to have teams that are very talented at multiple positions. You're going to have teams with a good mix of experience and newcomers, and teams that are used to going out and just playing well and playing hard. And it's going to be a really good test for us this week, going out on the road to see how we respond. But I'm looking forward to the girls just continuing to take care of us and focus on us and not get too caught up in what our opponents are doing. But we know we'll have our hands full, and we know it's going to be a battle, but we're looking forward to it.
Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.